Welcome to lectures and interviews about leadership for sustainability. I'm Bruce Hull. Okay, what is the point in me trying to talk to you if you can't understand me? How am I going to have the trust that you understand my values, my biases, my imperfections, if you're unaware of your own values and biases? That's the challenge before us. At some point in time, we're going to have to collaborate with people who are different from us. We just have to bring other people in and influence them in order to put together the projects that are bigger than any one of us can solve. And this module is going to be talking about what it's going to take to navigate those differences among our collaborators. This latter metaphor provides an example of the steps that we're going to have to go through, the rungs that we're going to have to climb. Many people begin by not acknowledging that differences exist. That's because we don't know ourselves. The next step, and the step we're going to focus on mostly here, is getting to know ourselves and our own values and understandings. And then you have to get some confidence and practice explaining that. And you have to do that in a safe place. You have to buffer with friends, with colleagues, with people who are similar to you, so you feel like you've got the confidence to express and understand yourself. And then you recognize, you look around and say, hey, these other people are different. In fact, they're not wrong. They're just different. And I have to figure out some way to engage them and work across those differences. The first step is listening to them constructively, actively, sympathizing, empathizing with them, understanding where they're coming from. And then, and only then, can we start to begin to synergize and find the common ground and work across the differences to create the collaboration that's necessary to solve problems. I want to focus on the second rung from the bottom, self-awareness. There are lots of diagnostics you can take that reveal your personality type, introversion, extroversion, your conflict style, whether you're a collaborator or an avoider, your influence style, whether you're a rationalist or whether you're an inspirationalist, on and on. I want to focus on values and assumptions that are embedded in sustainability challenges specifically. And the diagnostic that will help you do that, and it takes about 15 minutes, is at the sustainabilityvalues.com. It's the one on the screen here. You get an output that you can refer to, and there's a workbook that you can go through and interpret your results. What I'm going to do quickly here in the next minute is just describe the basic outline of those results, and then you can use the workbook to explore it in more detail. The output from the diagnostic looks something like this. This is too fine a type for you to read here, so I'm going to step you through each of the four main outputs. The main thing to get is that the results compare you to a couple thousand other people who have taken the same diagnostic. The first set of outputs has to do with what's being sustained. And people differ on whether they believe we should support and provide the future generations with soil, oil, water, species, ecosystem services, the natural capital that sustains life, or whether we should pass forward problem-solving abilities, the technology, the wealth, the education, the institutions that solve problems. Huge differences among people in terms of what we think we ought to provide the future, and whether those things are fungible. The next big set of differences or values where people differ is who should we sustain things for? Should we sustain for people today? I mean, there's a lot of inequity today, a lot of need for development today. A lot of people living in poverty, without water, without flush toilets. Maybe we should focus on them. Other people say, no, it's the next generation. It's what we should pass forward that really matters. And then within this current generation, not everybody has the same thing. There's a lot of inequities. There's NIMBYism. Let's not put it in my backyard. Let's put the development in somebody else's backyards. Or maybe we should develop for or sustain things for some religious reason, for God or for ancestors or for traditions or for animals and biorights generally. And then we'll differ on, and this is often the one that we don't see the most, we'll differ on how we want to sustain things, how we want to solve the problem. Do you want to have government regulation? Is big government the way to make sustainable development? Or would you rather have a free market, or maybe just rely on technology? Or perhaps you think we can just educate our way out of this, so we can have enlightened self-interest and people will be able to solve the problems themselves if they just know more. The fourth big set of outputs here has to do with what I call some myths and misunderstandings about sustainability, whether nature is balanced and knows best. What does evolution say about humans' right to rule or make decisions about other people in nature, other parts of nature? What is animal rights, and what does that say for human rights? Is there a noble savage? Do Aboriginal primitive cultures have some insight that informs modern land ethics? What should we learn from the past? And how about religion? Religion is a huge vector that it informs so much of our values and understandings. What is there a Christian land ethic, and what does that have to say about sustainable development? So all these things are unpacked in the workbook that accompanies the diagnostic. Remember, your goal is to know yourself so that you can climb that ladder, that you can begin to talk to other people, that you can begin to listen effectively, that you can begin to have empathy and start to synergize and find the common ground that collaboration requires. Right? So people will trust you, that they're being heard. That's what you're working towards. So good luck, and thank you for listening.